Okay. Remind me to never plant plants at 7 p.m. at night, because holy fuck, it is exhausting. Having to dig through dirt and do all of that. And my sister wanted to plant a rose bush and a blackberry bush last night. And by the time I finished that, I was just exhausted. I had planned to come finish the Moonlord then, but I just did not have the energy for that. What were we doing? Left hand. Left hand needs to die. That's right, we were baiting it here and doing this. About 2,500 damage on it. I had also heard from someone that parallax and background walls might potentially be a possible cause of a crash. So I decided to go ahead and turn those off. They're not going to do anything during this fight anyway. Hey, Nabra and Beluga. Yeah, this stream, I think I'm going to keep the hands alive at low HP. I could kill them and release the True Eyes, but I know I can survive the hands like they are now. I don't know how well the True Eyes are going to go. And since I know I can do this, I might as well just stick with it. 724.60. We're going to need to rewire the teleporter, find a way to damage that top eye. And then we can finally get a feel for how long it's going to take to do that. Annoyingly, I somehow got roped into doing a bunch of stuff Friday and this Sunday, which might interfere with my ability to do this, because, so normally I go eat with my grandparents at their place, once a week, usually on Friday nights. However, my grandparents wanted to celebrate, my younger brother and sister's birthday this weekend. Their birthday is not this weekend, it's several weeks out. But they wanted to celebrate it this weekend. I think because they're going on a trip or something. So they had told my sister that they wanted to, you know, host dinner on Sunday, for their birthday, and that's fine, whatever. Then my sister asked if she still wanted to do, if they still wanted to do dinner on Friday. And at that point, we essentially just got, volunteered to host dinner on Friday. Because they were like, oh, okay, let's do dinner at your place on Friday and, dinner at our place on Sunday. Which is twice as many commitments as I wanted, and I was, you know, would have preferred they just said, no, we won't do dinner on Friday. So now I need to prepare to host and cook on Friday, and then also on Sunday I'm going to their place for a few hours to go eat and do like birthday celebrations, which is like way more time than I want to spend doing that. I like trying to get things done on the weekends, and that's like my whole weekend gone now. What boss takes the most skill to beat? I don't really think any of the bosses take, like, considerably more skill to beat than any other one. Terraria's bosses are not really, like, difficult. To the point that I would say one is like, oh yeah, you need a lot of skill to beat this boss. How long has the fight been going on for? Right about 50 hours. I don't know the exact time. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess context matters. In some situations, certain bosses would be a lot harder to beat than other bosses. You got good news and bad news. Good news is you feel better than yesterday morning. Bad news is you have chicken pox. Damn, that sucks. I remember my sister had chicken pox when she was younger. Do you know how long, did you get an idea of how long you're going to be sick or contagious for? It's been 5 days, but you're going to the doctor if you're not better by tomorrow. Oh, you still haven't been to the doctor. I assume you know it's chickenpox because you started getting pockmarks. Then, if you still haven't been to the doctor. I thought you were going to go to the doctor today. How long do chickenpox infections usually last? Like, is it about a week? Is it like a couple weeks? I'm not very familiar with chickenpox. Having fun? We're having. Your cat is laying on your husband? Is this a good or bad thing? Also, I got a picture. It started on your face a couple days ago, and then reached over your entire body over the span of the sickness. That wasn't my question. That's adorable. Nice. That reminds me. I may live. I don't know may live. Is that a new Apple product? But I got a picture, or my sister got a picture this morning of a stick bug swaying in the. So stick bugs do this thing. It's like the you know the stick bug dance meme, where they sway their bodies to mimic the movement of sticks in the wind. And we got a video of her doing it this morning. It's in the pets channel of the Discord server. Yeah, right now we really need to deal damage to this left hand, because the right hand's pretty much already gone. The left hand just hasn't been damaged symmetrically. So I'm focusing pretty much all my attention on trying to just hit it. And we've gotten a pretty solid tactic for dealing damage to it, which is what I've been doing. Just organizing these teleports to scrape it down. I think I've been getting like 5 or 10 damage. Oh, hold on. There have been a few points in time where it has felt like the Moonlord has not spawned his tongue. when I would teleport. Not, it would spawn it and then I would teleport away from it. He just wouldn't spawn it at all. Like right there, not that teleport, but the teleport before it. It felt like he just didn't shoot it out. I wonder if there's a particular teleport timing. Can I see Micers? I don't know who Micers is. Also, why are you spacing out your text? Oh yeah, pro tip. Because this had come up earlier with somebody in my Discord server. If you are not, you know, homophobic or racist or sexist or whatever, you shouldn't hang out in spaces that are homophobic or racist or sexist or whatever. People are just going to think that you're homophobic or racist or sexist or whatever. There's not really any justification for hatred like that. Regardless of whether you're doing it to try to fit in or to try to be funny or amusing or you just feel social pressure to do it. Now I'm chatting on a stream. I usually chat on stream. What? It's like somebody in the Discord server earlier said something to the effect of, "Oh, I'm really homophobic in some places, but not here. The people in those other places would hate me if they knew that I wasn't really homophobic." And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck did I just read? A human being thought that was an okay sentiment to express? You're trying to get out of this hell? I imagine they're just like an edgy teenager who doesn't really understand the world very well. A lot of people have gone through phases like that, but hey, Torval. I feel like given the I would hope that people like that would have a moment of realization and understanding, particularly when faced with somebody. Did that person get warned? I was still talking to them about it. They're trying to take your blood. I mean, do you need all of your blood? It's really kind of diminishing the whole, like, vibe that you're trying to go for, because I have to sit there picturing you just intentionally putting a spacebar, click between every single letter that you type, which really changes the vibe of what you're doing. They're trying to kill me for their greed. There is spelled Their, not Thieir. You spelled Theo, which I don't think is a word. I can understand, like, what I was talking about before. I can understand it a little bit more if, like... It's a lot harder to stand up to social pressures in person than online, but especially being active in online communities that are homophobic, racist, whatever, uh, those are a lot easier to leave and stand up to than, like, you know, uh, co-workers, classmates, people you're forced to see in and out every day, because you can choose who you associate with online. Hey, a T-God. Just block the person and report them if crossing the line. I mean, they haven't actually done anything, aside from just admit they're homophobic in other places. Which is something that I feel like would just cause me to keep a closer eye on them. They want my soul, my arms, my eyes, my heart. Oh, that's sweet. Valentine's Day was like 5 months ago, though. You're gonna have to wait another 7 months or so. Valentine's Day is weird, though. I don't like Valentine's Day. Um, Whether I'm in a relationship or not. Because if I am in a relationship, there's essentially just this pressure to, like, spend a bunch of money. I don't like that. And if I'm not in a relationship, it's basically just, like, a bunch of annoying, adverts and hearts everywhere all the time. Hey, Sharktails. Read more of my last sentence? Your last sentence was read more of it. Yeah, I watched Sharktails. There's not any more to read of it. Huh? In general, I don't like most holidays. Particularly like your Hallmark holidays, Valentine's Day. Stuff like that. Essentially, it's very commercialized holidays. Easter as another one. Because they basically just feel like social pressures to spend money that I don't want to spend. I don't mind getting people gifts, but I want to get them gifts because I want to get them gifts, not because it's like Valentine's Day. Then you end up in the awkward situation of like, well, are people just gonna think I'm a dick? Like if the person I'm dating, if I like don't get them a good Valentine's Day present or I cheap out on a present, are they just gonna think that I'm like a dick? I don't. I'm going to open a hole to your heart, and rip my heart open. So it's bigger? Like, when you rip something open, it usually gets bigger. So they're gonna try to, like, rip it open and stuff love in there, and then put it back together? Like Build-A-Bear Workshop, you know? You, like, put the stuffing in the bear, and then put it back together? Give you a hand here? With what? They want you as a corpse. Consensual necrophilia? I don't... Or is it like organ donor? I don't... I want to test you. You're kind of getting to the point of, like, just, like, off-topic spam at this point. It's been going on for a long time. And, like... we can talk about something else. Well, that's very sweet of you, SD. Yeah, really, I don't really like any holidays that much. I don't really like... I don't like buying or getting presents that much. Because usually they're not things that I, like, really want, and they just end up being, like, things that you feel bad getting rid of, but, like, you didn't really want in the first place. At least not since I was, like, a child. Since I've had, like, my own income and been able to buy things myself. If I want something, I just get it. There's not really a situation where there's something that I really, really want that I wouldn't just get myself. So any present that someone would get for me is just, like, something that I haven't felt like getting for myself because I didn't really want it that much, but it's like, oh, okay, I guess. So it usually ends up just being stuff that I don't really want. I don't, a T-God, no. I don't know what that is. I have not. No, I don't. So, like, I never really know what to tell people to get me for, like, Christmas or my birthday or things like that. I don't really like holidays like that. You need to stop? Okay, you're more than welcome to. It's been going on for, like, 10 or 15 minutes now. Stop whenever you feel like it. Yeah, Valentine's Day, Easter, stuff like that, where they're essentially just super commercialized holidays. Not a fan. Yeah, hands are almost dead. 592. We got like 2,500. Not a fan of those holidays. I'm gonna damage the core. I like to give people consumables for actual holidays and then just buy them stuff at random times if I see something I really want to give them. Yeah. That's fair. I don't know, especially because it's weird because, like, I never fucking know what to do when it comes to, like, extended family at the holidays. Like, you know, family that live 9 states away, that I never really see except for, like, video calls at, like, Christmas. am I supposed to get them presents? Am I supposed to get every single one presents? There's like 10 people on that video call. Do I just get like a present for all of them? Do I just like send them money? I don't know. I don't want to spend money I don't have to spend. Are they going to get me presents? I'm going to feel weird if they get me a present and I don't get them a present. How does it usually goes? It usually goes, they get me a present, and then I didn't realize they were getting me a present, and then I didn't get them a present, and then I just feel awkward. In general, I also don't like, I don't like being around other people that much. For like holiday celebrations. I don't know Shark Tales. But it feels weird opening something from someone and then not having something to give them back. Yeah, I don't like being around large groups of people, and like any holiday get together with my immediate family is going to have like 8 to 10 people. I don't like that. I don't like having to be near that many people. I don't like having to be near that many children. How am I gonna damage the core? I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there. It's not important when I'm at the core. There's a teleporter. I'll probably just use that. I don't know. The exact same thing that I'm doing, except at the core instead. I'm child dickhead. What? Take that sentence back to the drawing board and try again. When that happens, somebody gets you a present and you don't get one for them, you just don't care. Well, it's weirder when they're like 60 or 70-year-old relatives. That like you never see. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I'd rather they just didn't get me anything. Yeah, I don't like being around large groups of people. Especially because, so there's a bunch of issues. Number one, being around people is just exhausting, right? I don't mind being around small groups of people. I don't mind being around my older sisters. I don't mind, being around friends. But I don't really like spending lots of time with, like, older relatives, or... I'd see it, T-God. Children or things like that, just because it's exhausting and tiring, and it's always loud, and I just don't like it. I want to go home. I want to sleep. 2, these celebrations almost always take place on the weekend. And the weekend is usually when I do things. Oh, God damn it, that's right. My whole fucking weekend's gone because I have my laser hair removal appointment on Saturday. So now I can't do anything this weekend. At least not anything like super time consuming. I knew there was something on Saturday I was forgetting about. Won't be 4th while I'm in 5th. So why ask that? I don't have no... Why do a hair removal? I'm getting laser done. VRTO. It's an ongoing process. Laser hair removal being semi-permanent hair removal / reduction. I don't know. It's one thing when you're like a child. It's another thing when you are an adult, I feel like. Because as an adult, I feel like there's more pressure to, you know, reciprocate. No, I would never talk about that, Sharktails. I feel like that would just be weird. I'm not trying to flirt with, like, the... hair removal lady. What hair am I removing? I've been doing face appointments every 2 weeks, and I have leg appointments every 8 weeks. I see you, Goober. Or the holiday meetings? Oh. I mean, I wouldn't do it there either. I don't... Thought I wanted to go bald? No. No. Laughing at the thought of my idea of floating is talking about beating the bath of pain on a dance pad. No. It's body hair removal. People who just simp at the bulge. I disagree. Yeah. I feel like, you know, family get-togethers always end up just, like, eating away my entire weekend in free time. And especially doing it, like, every week or two, which was going on for a long period of time, just made it so that, like, I could never fucking do anything in my free time. How old am I? I'm 23. Like, oh, we're gonna mow the lawn, plant new plants, clean out the shed, clean the house, remodel my gecko's terrarium. Yeah, go fuck yourself. You don't have any free time on the weekends to try to do that. Oh, damn. Get ready for twink death. What? It hurts to sit? What? You tried to shave with a razor that isn't meant for it. Ah. Yeah, I would I don't know, if you have like any soothing lotion or something like that, put it on and then just try to lay on a different part, like lay on your front. Um Irritation can be a bitch. Hair removal lotion. Hair removal lotion cream can go well, but everybody's skin has different reactions to it. Use Kevin Leonardo tutorial? What? I don't even know what that means. Um, the guy who showed his bare ass on YouTube. Why? I also like the implication that there's just one guy that uploaded his bare ass on YouTube and there's never been another one. He uploaded a visual guide on how to use an arrow. Okay. I mean, I don't think YouTube disallows nudity for the purposes of education. Um, like, just because there was, or even, I don't even think YouTube disallows light nudity, in other contexts. Like, I think if you play a game that has, light nudity in it, topless, or things like that, like, YouTube won't just ban you for it. Yeah, they only disallow porn. Well, YouTube's nothing if not inconsistent. Reminds me of my sister. My sister has these coworkers who work out in the garage and I remember her telling me a story about how there's this one guy out there, an older gentleman, who in his free time at work just watches like baby breastfeeding videos on YouTube with like topless women. And this is like what he does for entertainment at work. And like none of his coworkers seem to think much of it. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, yeah, Jeff does that. You know, that's just Jeff. Stuff is on TikTok too. To each their own. I don't know if there's like actually. I have not watched these videos. That reminds me. I know how my sister figured it out. It was because she had to do like IT tech support on his laptop, and he had a YouTube tab open, and all of his YouTube recommendations were like breastfeeding videos. Are the videos age restricted? I don't know. I don't watch them. Hang on. Why'd the music stop? That's something that only a person who watches breastfeeding... Okay, what would somebody who doesn't watch breastfeeding videos say? I assume you meant to say can't, Compic. Yeah. YouTube asked for your ID card in Europe. Damn, you got me. Hey, Gio. You beat Calamity? Nice. Are they still at, like, Exomex and Supreme Calamitus as the final boss? Or do they add more on top of that? Those are the final bosses. Can't wait for Yaron boss. I don't know. I feel like I can, personally. I felt like Calamity got worse late game because, like, the balancing just got, like, way too ridiculous. And I feel like if they're trying to add, like, a super final super boss, like, Exomex were already miserable to get through. Supreme Calamitus was just overtuned. I'm concerned as to what the boss to top that would be. Exomex is harder than Supreme Calamitus. I would agree with that sentiment. The way the worm bosses work in Calamity are so fucking stupid. Which worm boss? Calamity has a lot of worm bosses. As in damage for segments? What, like the fact that they're destroyer-like, where they all share a health bar instead of splitting? Or do you mean, like, the fact that, they usually get, like, invulnerability if you damage them too quickly for a period of time? Which is one of the things that I thought was stupid in Calamity mod, is, bosses who, like, had reactive damage reduction or defense or whatever if you dealt damage to them too fast. I think, like, Daytime Empress and, like, maybe Enraged Providence have that. Where, like, it forces the fight to drag on regardless of what weapon you use. Like, if I'm going there with an overpowered weapon, let me just melt the boss. The second one. I don't remember what the second one was. Also, active to fight Exomex 3 times. Aquatic Scourge or Perforators? Oh, I like Aquatic Scourge a lot. I'd much rather fight Aquatic Scourge than Perforators. Is Providence good? I think Providence is a good boss fight in Calamity, yeah. I think she's definitely one of the best fights in Calamity. How about Hivemind? I didn't fight Hivemind. One bosses are supposed to have tons of health, not segments that take 5 damage each. I do like Aquatic Surge's song, yeah. Definitely killed the Perforators the most out of any boss because of the sheer amounts of cysts. But you can get the item that, like, stops cysts from showing up. Alright. An item that does that? Yeah. I'm pretty sure. You scared of people to fight Skeletron Prime first? Why? I would think that a razor built to shave your legs would be fine, shaving most of your body hair. It's basically no point since you just insta-kill them later in the game. Fair enough. But you won't say because it's too embarrassing. Did you shave against the grain? Instead of with the grain? What do you mean by grain? When you're shaving, you want to shave with the grain, not against the grain. The grain is the direction that your hair is growing. So, like, if your hair is growing, like, downward, like on your legs, you want to bring your razor in the downward direction, not up. Because if you cut it, if you shave against the grain, you're going to irritate it a lot more. And you should also use a sharp razor. For a similar reason. You don't want a dull razor. And that's going to increase the likelihood of irritation and ingrown hairs. Also, the sheer amount of cysts argument feels weird because Calamity has infinite boss summons, so you can just repeatedly fight bosses if you need to. Like, I think I probably killed the twins like hundreds of times over Calamity because I kept farming them for money. Does irritation mean redness? Generally, yeah. That's a sign your skin's been irritated. If it's, like, bumpy, it might be just razor burn. If it's, like a large bump, it might be an ingrown hair. But ingrown hair wouldn't... It's neither. Did you use something that was not shaving cream? Usually use olive oil. Huh. Interesting. So you want to stop talking about it? Well, I'm half expecting you to, like, deadass say use, like, toothpaste to shave or something. Like, ah, shit. No wonder my ass feels minty. This is toothpaste. So many people have different ideas on shaving. Saw someone say you just shave your legs with an electric razor in the shower and you tried it. Bad idea. Yeah, it's difficult to shave wet skin with an electric razor. It tends to just not go well, even if you have a waterproof razor. Yeah, well, lesson learned. Just make sure you don't do it again. Don't cut too much hair due to smooth skin and taking care. Shaving cream is a scam. You use whipped cream. Or I'd use an electric razor on wet hair. I mean, a lot of electric razors are fine to use wet. It's not like there's a danger of electrocution there. But they're just not very effective because of how electric razors work. Electric razors are more like hair clippers than a razor, where they just have, like, sawing, quick-moving, blades that cut things. And it just doesn't work well on wet hair. Same reason you don't try to shave your hair, or cut your hair, when it's, wet. You usually want dry hair if you're trying to give yourself a haircut. Getting goosebumps irritated makes it hurt so much more. I have an opinion on the boss rushing calamity if I did it. I think I tried it twice. Once when I got the item, which was in pre-hard mode. And then once at the end of the game, and I think I just died at the Wall of Flesh because I didn't have an arena. And I didn't know it was going to teleport me there. I didn't really have that much interest in doing it. It was fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. Boss rush takes like 20 minutes, kind of stressful, not that bad. I don't know, I felt like it was kind of bullshit when the game just like dropped me in the underworld with a wall of flesh in a place where I didn't have an arena, and I'm just like, cool, I guess I'm just dead then. Oh yeah, Queen Bee kicked her ass when we did it in pre-hard mode. She had like 600,000. Actually, no, probably like... I think it was like 600,000 HP. And like, did like 300 something damage a hit. And the boss rush, you hated Astromorius and the Ravager. I hate those bosses, just like, period. Doesn't really have to do with the boss rush. The Ravager is so forgettable. You know who's forgettable? A boss that I haven't remembered. You don't really like Calamity? I can understand that, SD. It can be exhausting. There's a lot of content in it. And I can definitely see getting bored of it after a period of time. Nothing wrong with the Guardians, but Ceaseless is just flat out annoying. You also have to fight Nighttime Providence, which has new attacks, and in the boss rush is a no-hit fight. Just like the meatballs. I mean, the meatballs were just a gimmick fight, at least from what I remember. Like, once you figure out, oh, I need to fight them in this order, and kill them in this order, like, the fight wasn't really that difficult. It was mostly just figuring out what was going on that I felt like was annoying in Guardians. Use the Universal Splitter? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that weapon is. I, like, killed the Exomex, and then I was like, I'm done. And then just stopped. I think I, like, summoned Adult Eidolon Worm, and it was like, fuck this, I'm not doing this. And then we're just done with Calamity. 60,000 damage weapon. That's such a meaningless state. Like, Calamity's number scaling is so obscene. Like, I don't even know what a 60,000 damage is supposed to, like, is that, I assume that's particularly good, but Calamity's number scaling is all over the place that, like, I don't even know if that's, like, particularly good. Like, 60,000 damage is meaningless when all the HP of everything is scaled way the fuck up, so that it just ends up being, like, the same amount of damage anyway. It's like games that give you absurdly high score. Yeah, or like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game where everyone has like 60,000 life points instead of like 60 life points. Like base game Terraria has the same issue where like once you get to like the pillars and stuff, the damage values of things just get so like the slope of DPS gets annoying. Because it just like makes everything else they just so grossly outclass everything else. But then like Calamity takes that to a whole new level with how much the number scaling gets out of control because it goes on for so much longer. It's kind of just an issue with like the system the game is based upon where, you know, everything having different base damages and things getting more damage as the game goes on. Well, as you make the game longer and longer, the base damages have to get higher and higher to the point that they're just so meaninglessly high that the numbers don't even matter anymore. But it does that damage like 15 times. It's good against bosses that are stationary. Yeah, like, Terraria has a lot of, you know, pretty solid systems. The weapon system, especially at this stage in the game, is not one of those systems. The number scaling just gets so... That's why we're sitting here for like 90 hours or whatever. Also, was the highest base damage out of any weapon in Calamity. I'm like, so what? You want to use the Christmas tree sword? Why the fuck is the damage so bad you don't want to use the Tarot Blade? Yeah, that's where things like, games like Dead Cells, games like Dark Souls, where, the weapon stats, are not that different. Like, they'll level up a bit, but, like, any weapon can potentially be made viable just by upgrading it or, you know, speccing into the required stats. Makes it a lot more rewarding and interesting to use different weapons. I'm not super familiar with Ultra Kill, but, like, Rel said, Ultra Kill, the highest base damage is still damage, can be helpful, but sure, it's stationary, but it's still good damage. But, like, the damage is just, it doesn't... I'm not even talking about the weapon anymore, I'm just talking about, like, the fact that, the number scaling just gets so high to be meaningless. And all that it really serves to do is just make anything before that point completely useless. Which isn't good. That's not fun, because there are a lot of, like, fun or interesting weapons in Calamity that just get obsoleted by the next boss. because the number scaling gets so high. Same thing with armors in Calamity. Like, oh, you know, I really liked the Plague armor that you would, like, blind yourself and you'd get the damage buff. Gets obsoleted. And then, like, cool effect is just out the window and you can't really use it anymore. At least you'd be shooting yourself in the foot if you wanted to use it. Because you can't scale those things. Which ends up meaning there's a lot of cool ideas in Calamity that are only cool for, like, a brief moment in progression, and then it just gets outclassed by something else. It's not like you can just go, yo, I really like this weapon a lot, I want to use this weapon for the whole game. Because you are going to have a miserable, miserable, miserable time because of the number scaling. And there are games where you can do things like that. Like I said, Dark Souls, Ultra Kill, Dead Cells. It was way worse before the XMX were added. Supreme Clemens had like 16 million HP? What the fuck? Supreme Calamitous was already way too long of a fight, I felt like. 16 million just sounds miserable. They're talking about an old version of Supreme Calamitous. Not the current version. Yeah. We are almost at the point of switching to the top eye. Yeah, it's why I would never do like a low damage challenging Calamity mod. And why anytime somebody mentions like doing a Calamity boss with low damage, my answer is like, fuck no. Because Calamity's number scaling is just obscene. The best Terraria playthrough. Thank you, Necromillion. How you doing? Yeah, I also think it's one of the worst aspects of the base game Terraria is the balance of endgame, the pillars and onward, is not good. It just isn't. You are basically put in a situation where, you have a small handful of viable weapons. Or sorry, not viable. Good weapons. Which are almost always just the pillar weapons. And then you fight a boss that has more than twice as much HP as the previous most difficult boss. And, like, the scaling doesn't need to be like that. Like, if the pillars didn't drop weapons, the pillars had, or if the pillar weapons were, something else entirely, like the pillars dropped something but they weren't weapons, and you just had the post-golem weapons, which are, like, decently balanced with each other, and the Moonlord only had, you know, 60-75% as much HP, it would be a lot more reasonable, to just fight him with the post-golem weapons. It's mostly the pillars themselves that are a pain to fight with the post-golem weapons, more than the Moonlord himself. But the pillar weapons are so much more powerful than the post-golem ones that, like, why would you ever use the post-golem ones? Despite the fact that there are tons of really fun and interesting post-golem weapons. I feel like that was really mishandled. And the game would have been a lot more fun if those weapons were viable for the, for killing the Moonlord, or the pillars. I don't even like the word viable, because they are viable, they're just not particularly good. They're outclassed. There are some that can do fine against the Moonlord. You know, Razorpine, combined with, like, Betsy's Wrath and whatnot, can be pretty competitive with the pillar weapons. Pre-nerf Terrorblade, the Flying Dragon, the Coin Gun, Terror Prisma, can be fine. But then it just leaves so many that are just left in the dust. Because Moonlord was added after Golem. I'm well aware of the game's update history. Terrorblade was nerfed. The Terrorblade was nerfed in 1.4.4.6. And the fact that some pillar ups aren't even viable in the slightest. Viable's not the right word. They are all viable. It's just some of them are not as good. But yeah, like the fact that the Vortex Beater just gets shit on by the Phantasm. Terrorblade is still viable. Again, viable, bad word. I regret using it. Don't use the word viable. But it's not nearly as good as it used to be. Like, it used to be a good option for the Moonlord. Now it's just kind of like, I mean, it's worse than the pillar weapons. The only pre-golem weapon that I think there are only 2 pre-golem weapons that are better than the pillar weapons against the Moonlord. And that would be the Stud, I don't know, I was reading what you said. That would be the Flying Dragon and the Coin Gun. I think every other pre-golem weapon gets outclassed by the pillar weapons. Vortex Beater is safer than Phantasm. It sucks, though. Like, is bad. It's also really loud, and that's annoying. But yeah, the Terrorblade was nerfed to scale less with melee speed. And it might have also had another nerf in 1.4.4.6. I know that the pillars and everything were added post-Golem. I played 1.3 when it came out. But that doesn't excuse the balance changes being, really awful. You know, it feels similar to the jump from pre-hard mode to hard mode, in the sense that, like, a lot of the things before just get completely outclassed and kind of suck, compared to the things you get there. And some of them can still be used effectively, but most of them are just useless. Except you don't have all of the options that you have in hard mode, and there's only, like, a couple enemies in a single boss. Yeah. Viable was not the correct word. I was just kind of talking on automatic. The lawnmower is viable, as evidenced by the fact that I did it with a lawnmower. Viability and being good are not the same thing. Viability means that it's, like, conceivable to do with it. Not that it's good. Yeah, and, like, I use the tsunami a lot, particularly in hardcore. Not as much now that I think 1.4.4 is done, because, the main reason that I liked using the tsunami and didn't like the phantasm was because it made the pillars a lot more bearable, particularly the nebula pillar. Pre 1.4.4 had major issues against the phantasm. You would get absolutely annihilated by, nebula floaters. With their reactive teleports, but now that that was nerfed, it's not as big of an issue. I think that's the main reason that I had a dislike of the Phantasm. You need a new mandatory boss between Golem and Cultist to make post-Golem weapons more viable? No. Terraria does not need more bosses. You've already got the Cultist and... the Empress and Duke Fishron at that point in progression. Terraria already has, like, a bunch of bosses. It really doesn't need more. Like, it already has a lot of bosses that are just, like... Post-Golem to Cultist is very much so just, like, there's a bunch of optional content, and I don't think adding a mandatory boss there would be a good idea. And yeah, it kind of makes, like... It makes a lot of the post-Golem content feel pointless because of the balancing of the pillars. It's another issue that I have with it. Where basically nothing that you do post-Golem matters. Because as soon as you kill the Cultist, you're going to kill a pillar, you're going to get a pillar weapon, and that's going to obsolete whatever you had gotten. It's like, yeah, you could fight the Empress of Light, you could get the Eventide, or the Starlight, or you could get a Tsunami, or a Razorblade Typhoon. Cool, you kill a pillar, now it's obsolete. You have a better weapon. Whereas if the game was balanced differently, those weapons could all be viable options for the final boss, and you'd get them and you'd be like, yo, I can use this on the Moonlord, and it'd make post-Golem feel less like a bunch of meandering about useless content, more of like, I'm getting ready to get the things that I'm going to use for the final boss. Because the Cultist is a brain-dead, extremely easy boss, and the pillars you can just throw yourself at them until they die. You don't have to have good items to kill either one. And it'd make the game a lot more rewarding if it was like, okay, you know what, I'm post-Golem, I'm gonna go, you know, kill the Empress and get a weapon from the Empress, and that's what I'm gonna use to beat the game. It's my least favorite boss in Vanilla Terraria. Deerclops. Specifically Deerclops because of his Shadow Hands, because fuck that attack, that is the worst attack in the entire game. And I want to strangle whoever added it at Relogic, because holy shit, that is just such a stupid attack. Just random hands flying at you from a random direction with... It's... I hate that attack. With a passion. He's not that... No, it's not difficult, but I hate it. It is just awful. Awful attack. And the follow-up would probably be Queen Slime for similar reasons. It's because you're above the boss? No, you're not understanding what I'm talking about, Time Death. Regardless of where you are relative to Deerclops, he will always spawn random hands that fly at you from a random direction in a random pattern. If you're above him, he spawns a lot of them, but he's always doing it, and they get more frequent the closer he gets to death. Trust me, I am very familiar with Deerclops' AI. I spent a very long time being very annoyed at that, because it's basically impossible to do without getting hit blindfolded. I'm not saying Deerclops is difficult. You didn't ask me which was the hardest boss. You said which was my least favorite. And I hate that attack with a passion. It turns what would otherwise be a really fun boss into a miserable boss. I would not call King Slime the intended starter boss. Oh yeah, I don't like Queen Slime for similar reasons with projectile spam. I hate Deerclops more because Deerclops at its core is a fun boss. And I like fighting Deerclops. But then the hand attack just ruins it. Whereas Queen Slime is just like, you know, an annoying attack on a boss that I didn't like that much to begin with. That's why I really dislike the hand attack on Deerclops. It's because I like Deerclops. It's fun going through, like, the kiting motion and running between his legs. It's a fun gameplay loop. He's got a nice rhythm to him. Which is completely disrupted, especially because, like, you're not... One of the main issues is that by the time you fight Deerclops, you're not going to have knockback resistance, because you're not fighting him post-Skeletron most of the time. No, there are not Shadow Hands in Deerclops' original fight. It's a really good replication of the Deerclops fight in Don't Starve, except for the Shadow Hands, which just shit on the entire thing. Because the way Deerclops is, like, it forces you into a situation where you run back and forth and you kite him, because he has a pattern with his ice spike attacks, and realistically, when you're fighting him, those are probably the only attacks you're going to see, unless you're fighting him in a different way, which the game heavily discourages from him being invulnerable and having the annoying to dodge snowball attack. You just run back and forth. He has a 3 cycle ice spike attack. He'll attack whichever side you're on, so you want to run through his legs to the other side of him. He does that twice, and then on the third one you want to jump, because he does both sides of him, and then he repeats that cycle, and it's fun running back and forth between his legs to dodge them. And it's similar to kiting him in Don't Starve, where you run in when he's attacking and then run away. It's a pretty decent replication of that gameplay loop. And then you just ruin the entire thing because you add Shadow Hands that knock you back and make it impossible to kite effectively because you just randomly get knocked back and you can't properly follow his cycle and tempo because there's something that's completely out of your control, more or less. That'll just randomly cause you to get hit. And sure, you can fight the boss in a way that, you know, mitigates the chance of getting hit by the Shadow Hands by being above him or being on platforms or whatever and running around in different ways, but that ruins the base fight. It takes what they're trying to do and then just makes it so you can't do it, and it's miserable. And I hate it. Because you have a really good shell of a boss fight that Deerclops is, and then you fill the middle of it with like, motor oil, and then expect you to eat that. It's not that the hands are dangerous. It's not that the hands make the fight really difficult. It's that the hands make the fight annoying. It's that the hands take the base fight, which was good, and make it so you can't do that. And every time you try to do that, you just get frustrated because there are just random-ass hands that come out of nowhere with no rhyme or reason that just interrupt it. Again, it's not that it's difficult. It's that it makes the fight bad. And it makes the fight not fun. Because you can't fight him the way that he was designed to be fought, which is fun. If there was ever a boss in Terraria that I wanted to be changed, it would be Deerclops' Shadow Hands attack. Yeah, he does have good music. Especially because the Shadow Hands, they're not even something from Don't Starve. Like, it's not... The only reason... They're his expert mode change, by the way. Deerclops' expert mode change as he gets those Shadow Hands. And I think they're only there because they couldn't come up with an idea for expert mode. They designed a good boss fight. And then they were like, shit, we need to add something for expert mode. Let's throw in some Shadow Hands, and then they ruin the fight. So the Shadow Hands are always in this fight? No. He does shadow... Like, he will yell and throw a bunch of Shadow Hands above you if you're standing above him. But on expert mode and above, he has just constant Shadow Hands that spawn at randomly, with a random flight path, that get more frequent the lower he gets on HP. They don't do much damage, but they knock you back, and they're essentially unpredictable. And when you're trying to do a predetermined movement path to kite him, which is what the boss is, like, heavily designed to encourage, they completely mess that up. And is why I hate that attack, and it's why I don't like Deerclops. If not, he would probably be one of my favorite bosses in the game, because I genuinely really like the kiting, dodging movements. It's really fun to do. It's got a nice tempo, it's got a nice rhythm, it's simple, but it's rewarding. The music is nice. Okay, we've almost reached equal HP on these two hands here. I'm trying to think of what would be a better expert mode change. That would, you know, still keep the spirit of the fight and the fun the same. Hell, they could add Deerclops'... You know what would be a good expert mode change? Christmas Deerclops in Don't Starve has a laser beam attack. Just give him that. That's an attack that Deerclops actually has, and it's something that I feel like would fit in Terraria a lot better. Just give Deerclops a death ray. Deerclops is simple, at least in the standards of the other bosses in the games he's also in. I did not follow that sentence. Is simple in the standards of the other bosses in the games he's also in. So you mean like the Don't Starve bosses, the other bosses are more complicated than Deerclops? That's what we're getting at. He is, yeah. But just because he's simple doesn't mean he can't be fun. I mean, like, I think Deerclops is fun. Like, the shell of the boss fight there. I do really like it. You know, I think giving Deerclops a laser beam instead of his shadow hands would be a much better expert mode change. Because it's something that's actually in Don't Starve. It wouldn't just feel like random annoying nuisances that are flying all around all the time. Because, like, what do the shadow hands add to the fight? I'm specifically talking about, you know, not the one that stopped you from being above him. It's the shadow hands that just spawn at random and fly at you in a random direction with a random flight path. Like, what do those add? How do they make the fight better or more fun? They're just an annoying nuisance. They're not rewarding to dodge. They're not fun to dodge. They're not fun to get hit by. Whereas you could add, you know, some kind of, like, charge up laser beam that he has. It could have, you know, a slight telegraph. You'd have a moment to react and be like, shit, I need to get on, you know, this side of his body or move away from this area. And then it feels rewarding. And if it's added with a nice tempo, it could be a really fun thing to dodge. People would call it too modded and would complain. Yeah, people also said that about Shimmer, and Shimmer got added. HP on hands? About 250 on each, roughly. I don't think I'm going to kill them. I'll probably get them down to, like, 10 HP and then start working on the top eye. I just feel like it'd be safer. Have I ever heard of Forager? I don't know what that is. At least not in that context. They added the frog boss from Don't Starve? Toadstool? I mean, I think the reason they added Deerclops is because Deerclops is Don't Starve's most iconic boss. It's like the same reason that Don't Starve added the Eye of Cthulhu, is because the Eye of Cthulhu is one of Terraria's most iconic bosses. Wasn't Toadstool one of the worst bosses in Don't Starve? I never fought Toadstool. Toadstool just seemed like way too much of a hassle to try to fight. And it's like a raid boss with like a fuck ton of HP. I think. I don't know. I never fought Toadstool. Main problem was the trees he spawns. I don't know. I never fought him. I don't know what he does. There are a few bosses in Don't Starve that are... Or Don't Starve together. That are just absolutely miserable to try to fight solo or with small groups of people. Which is usually how I would play Don't Starve together. And Toadstool just always seemed like one of those bosses that was like, wow, fuck fighting that. No. Ah, you have to just cut down all the trees he spawns. Yeah, that sounds very annoying. Yeah, a lot of Don't Starve's bosses are annoying. honestly, the fighting bosses aspect of Don't Starve Together was one of what I found to be, like, usually the more annoying parts. Especially as you get to, like, the not, like, basic bosses. Like, Antlion, you can go fuck yourself. The Crab King, most people agreed was the worst boss. I never fought the Crab King. Most of these bosses were things that I looked at and went, wow, that looks miserable. I don't want to do that, and then did not do. I think probably the most difficult boss that I fought was probably, like, the twins. There was a multiplayer stream where we fought the twins. Who is that? The twins from Terraria. Retinaser and Spasmatism. Oh, Crab King? Crab King is like a rock that exists in the world that you have to slot a bunch of gemstones in, and he gets like different buffs depending on the gemstones. You have to fight him in the water, and I think like he like sends things to try to sink your boat, and you have to like micromanage keeping your boat alive. And like moving around and shit. While also fighting a boss that has like a ton of HP. Don't Starve was really good at adding annoying things, though. Like, I really don't... I hate the random pirate raids that you get from, like, the Monkey Island update. I hate those things so much. Because I really enjoyed just, like, vibing on the water. But now you've got, like, random raids that will happen when you're out vibing on the water. Jackass is coming to sink your boat. And also, if you kill them, by the way, here's an item that you can never get rid of unless you go to the Monkey Island and give an offering to the Monkey Queen. And if you get too many of them, your character loses all your special abilities and you become a monkey. Like, what the fuck? What? That is such an annoying mechanic. I'm just out here trying to, like, vibe in the waterlogged biome with, like, mine salt. Another example of just a really annoying mechanic is, just the antlion. Really just everything in summer. The antlion, wildfires, the bosses in Don't Starve feel like the devs made them for a different game but put them in Don't Starve accidentally. We're talking about Don't Starve Together, specifically in the Curse of the Monkey Moon Quay, whatever. But Quay is pronounced Key, so it's Moon Key Monkey. So why am I doing 5 high? What? So like a reverse high 5 because I'm attacking his hands? Are we talking about both games? I mean, we're mostly just talking about Don't Starve Together at this point. Yeah, that update has made it so I'm just, like, much less interested in going sailing and, doing things on the water, which I really used to like going out and just vibing on the water, fishing. You know, it's pretty atmospheric, just chilling out in the ocean, trying to explore what's going on. But now there's, like, this constant, like, oh, go fuck yourself, pirates are coming. I don't mind updates that add, like, self-contained things, but when they add global things that make pre-existing stuff less fun, I really don't like stuff like that. Imagine you remember me. I don't recognize your name or profile picture. Alright, we're just about done with the hands. We're gonna have to pivot to the top eye soon. I'm specifically talking about Don't Starve Together. It's just easier to say Don't Starve because it's like half as many syllables. Old name was Corny Gaming. I don't know. I don't remember that. Sorry. Yeah, the Eye of Cthulhu was solid. The twins were a lot more of a pain in the ass than the Eye of Cthulhu was. The twins are basically just coked up Eyes of Cthulhu. We did somehow end up killing them when we did multiplayer Don't Starve, though. It was fun. A lot of people died. I remember that. Twins just the Eye of Cthulhu, but there's 2 of them and they have double the health? No, no, they have more than double the health, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe, like, combined. And they're also way faster and have, like, coked up attacks. Like, they dash for longer, they spawn a lot more shit. Like, they're not the same boss, but just 2 of them. They're the same boss, coked up. And you also can't miss a night fighting them, unlike the Eye, where it just regenerates HP. They also die in darkness in that game? Yes. You get attacked by a shadow monster, Charlie, if you're in pitch black. And you have to fight them at night, so you have to have illumination and whatnot. You know, they are way more difficult than just the Eye of Cthulhu, because of the speed and attack differences. even if they're the same core attacks. Like, Don't Starve mostly prides itself in its lore. That's it. Don't Starve really does not have much of a lore in-game. Most of the lore comes from, like, out of game. From what I remember, like, it doesn't just have, like, things for you to read and find out. It's kind of just an amalgamation of things, and it's explained, out of game. I feel like it mostly prides itself on its, like, unforgiving survival aspect. I feel like that's where the game's identity comes from. Just fun, you're gonna make the Moonlord an SMM2. I don't know what SMM2 is. Super Mash Mothers? Super Mario Maker 2. Okay. Alright, see you, Gio. Okay, I'll keep him at 16 HP. And now... Now comes the interesting part. The fuck do we do now? Let's see. Got a teleporter up there. Let me get a look at this. So, I could try. I've got a switch. If I put a switch in the top right-hand corner... No, I'm not ending the stream. I'm thinking. If I put a switch in the top right-hand corner here, where that torch is, I could move my mouse up here. Smart Cursor would select that. I would teleport up there, be able to attack the eye. When the laser comes, I could activate this switch down here, come over here, do the dodging the laser as normal, and then on the left, I could go back there. That should work. Let's try it. I need to... Okay. Get this switch down. Okay. Let's... Okay. Okay. It works. It works. Yeah. 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 Okay. The thing is, the Moonlord heals the top eye preferentially, Zohop. The healing leeches always go to the top eye, if possible. It would only heal the hands if the top eye was at full HP. And since at this point, the top eye is not at full HP, even if he were to heal, it would just top up the top eye. I gotta... It's a bit tricky because he wants to wiggle above me as I'm doing this. Okay, let's try to get a sense of how quickly we deal damage. Okay. 1050. Let's start clock at 1055. He is at 460. He was at 460. Let me do 5 minutes and see where we stand. So that'd be 350. And he was at 460. Fuck off. That was awkward. I have to heal. It's tricky because of his wiggling. I won't kill the eyes on the end. I'm going to kill the eyes when it's... Once I'm ready to kill the top eye. There's not much reason to kill them beforehand. We can survive them perfectly fine. I don't need to worry about... I don't need to worry about them. Oops. I do have to worry about that, though. Accidentally hitting them. I should have left them with a bit more HP, I think. God damn it. Okay. We just have to make sure we're not attacking when, teleporting to another spot. I just have to get in a different, muscle memory. Because right now I'm used to just holding down the button non-stop. When really I only have to hold down the button when I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah, like I said, this pace should be a much higher pace of dealing damage than we had been having before, which is why I think the top eye will go faster. We'll see. Once we hit 350, we're going to assess how much damage we dealt and then calculate our DPS from there. And this would be a slightly suboptimal measurement, because we messed up a couple times. We're still learning. For the eyes, you're going to use... Angry Sun. What? Sorry, I wasn't following too much. I was kind of focused on what was happening here. God damn it. I don't want to move him too much, because, we got a bit of damage opportunity, though. Oh, shit. We are flying through damage, actually. I'm just looking at the numbers right now, and, this is a very good pace that we're on. This is a lot higher than the 1 DPS estimate that I had. Told you guys it would work out fine. getting at least 30 streams now. I mean, at the rate we're doing it, genuinely, I could see being done with this by the end of the week. I'll have to get the exact number. It's about to be 350. Okay. It's been 5 minutes. He is at 237. We started at 460. Means we did 223 damage in 5 minutes, which would be let's round up to let's just say a 225 in 5 minutes, which is 450 in 10 minutes, which is 920, which is 2,700 in an hour, which is considerably more than we had been doing to the hands. And remember, that was, you know, us still learning how to do this. We haven't, you know, refined how to iron out the strategy to keep his top eye where we want to hit it. Once we get that, we could potentially be doing 3, maybe even like 4,000 damage an hour. Yeah, we are on a considerably faster pace here. Now, with that said, he does still have 67,500 HP, which is a lot. So I don't think our end of the week estimate, I'd have to go really hard, and with all the other stuff I have going on, I don't think that'll happen. But, consider the following. We are doing only... We have to stop attacking the Moonlord periodically because of his death ray and the fact that the eye closes. When we get to his core, that is not the case. We will not have to stop attacking him because of the death ray or because the eye is closed. The core is always damageable. So, our damage against the core is going to be even better than this. Which is why I did not want to make estimates about how long it would take to kill him based on the numbers we had for the hands. Because, as you can tell, our damage is considerably better now. You know, compare this to the initial, like, 1,000 damage every hour that we had with the hands. Better than Copper Shortsword? No, I don't think it's better than Copper Shortsword. God damn it. I need to make sure I teleport to the right one. Worst case scenario, we just pop out the True Eyes of Cthulhu early and try to sync up their cycles, which should still be survivable. I would just rather not do it before I have to do it. We're already almost 500 damage down. Going really fast. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I expected the damage against the top eye and the core to be considerably higher. The main issue with the hands was that we couldn't hit them consistently. Not that they were, you know, particularly tanky or... I mean, they are tanky, but it's more that they're just difficult to hit because they move around. Is Lawnmower only going to be a stream highlight video? No, I'm going to edit it. The stream highlights would suck. How's my sanity holding up? It's fine. I mean, now we have hope of things not actually taking that long, because we deal pretty good damage against the Moonlord's top eye. We've already done 500 damage in, what was that, 10 minutes? 15? Who wouldn't want to comb over 20 plus streams for memeable moments? Yeah. Well, not even that, like, what are the other boss streams going to be? Me reading HP Lovecraft? Watching random old videos and, like, occasionally commenting on them? Like, what is going to be highlightable about those? This does require quite a lot of clicking, though. Because all these teleports are manual, and they're... It's not super specific, but it's a bit, I do have to make sure I'm clicking in the right spot, otherwise I'm going to teleport to the wrong teleporter. Alright, see you, Time Death. Music seems to have stopped. Or we're just playing Silent Construct. Yeah, it stopped. YouTube really likes just pausing playlists that you're playing with no reason. I do have to be a bit easy, because... I do have to be a bit careful, because it's not easy just, like, eating a death ray hit. Which, if I overextend, will happen. It's gotten a bit dicey a couple times, you may have noticed, where I've eaten 2 hits from the same death ray consecutively, which is not a comfortable position to be in. It's really not. Exactly, Peninja. That's what's happening. And I don't know how to stop that. Interesting. The Moonlord, when he teleports, he, like, bounces in, from above you. It takes him a second to, like, stabilize his eye locations. Like, look at this. Good example of me teleporting to the wrong teleporter there. So the one thing that's... The next, real test is going to be... And we're a long ways away from it, but... Killing all of the Moonlord's eyes to line up the True Eye of Cthulhu attack cycles. We've got an 80-frame window. And we want to sync up the True Eyes of Cthulhu's attacks to fit within that 80-frame window. With the idea basically being that I want all of them to do their Phantasmal Spheres attack at the same time so that only one will hit me instead of all three of them hitting me. And I know their attack cycle. I don't know the exact moment that I need to kill them during the True Eyes attack cycle in order to accomplish that. It should be pretty easy to get the top eye synchronized. Getting the hand synchronized could be kind of difficult, though. That's the part I'm not too sure about. Unfortunate. Yeah, I think we're more than halfway done with the fight. Given the pace things are going at now. And with any luck, phase 1 will have been the most difficult part of the fight, but... I still don't know how the True Eyes of Cthulhu are going to go. We are almost at 1,000 HP down. Yeah, I think we're working at like 2,000 something damage an hour. Yeah, we just need to do that 66 more times. Okay, I think I will get him down to 66,000, and then I will pause there, take a break, and plan to stream in the afternoon as well. I'm getting kind of hungry. And there's some stuff I want to take care of. And I feel like after resting a little bit, I can be a lot more efficient with this, because I've been messing up a little bit. This one's a lot trickier to do efficiently than the hands were. I'm really messing up the teleports here. I'm mispositioning my mouse cursor. The placement's a bit specific. Well, not really. Specific's not the right word. It's more that it's easy to mess up because I have to just essentially quickly snap my mouse to a side of my screen, and if I'm a little bit off, I'll use the wrong teleporter. There's left, top right, and bottom right. And accidentally using the wrong one is quite problematic. Means I either miss out on damage, potentially accidentally damage that hand, which is quite a big issue, or eat a death ray. And none of those are desirable. It's kind of hot in here. I'm going to turn on the AC when I finish. Slight timing mishaps like that are really inconvenient. Eating the same death ray twice is really not something I like doing. It was also my fault because I thought it was coming from the left, not the right. And I teleported at a bad time. Alright, 83 more. Yo, Maxwell's throwing a party. There are birds on this soundtrack. Or is that bird outside? Still at this? Yep. You caught me right at the end, though, as 66,000 on the top eye was our cutoff point, and as a result, it's now time to pause. 14,1016 with 11, 14, and 65,991. Okay. Well, now that we're done with the hands, we're going to start making progress at this a lot faster than we were. Maybe 20 hours, maybe a bit less for the top eye, and then we can move on to the core, which should be even faster. So in total, maybe only another like 30 hours of this. I'm not really too sure. We'll have to see and find out. But that's all the problem for later. For now, bye everyone.